Howdy, folks, and welcome. It's the Cruel Summer Slashback. Week, what is it, week 7? Week 8?
Look, I don't know. It's a lot of weeks.
I don't know either. It's been a long summer. And we're in the dog days of summer right now, Uncle Bill. It's hotter than fuck all day today.
Wasn't there like a horrible folk rock song called that? Dog days of summer.
Is it a Bruce Springsteen song?
No, it's one of them like whiny women writing in their journal songs, but I can't remember which one. Listen, speaking of which, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but I am sick to death of journal reading rock. Like, it's where there's no hook. There's just a shit ton of verse lyrics that sound like somebody's reading them out of a journal. And it's just a continuous loop of somebody playing acoustic guitar while they read that shit off. I'm over all of that. Like, male, female, like, whatever that is, it needs to die. It's awful.
I must have Bruce Springsteen on mine because I thought of him again when you mentioned that.
Oh, journal rock.
Do you remember?
Yes, Florence and the Machine. Yeah. Same.
Whatever happened to them, by the way? They were hot there for
I hope that they never return. Yeah.
What was the song that Bruce Springsteen did? I think it was called The Streets of Philadelphia or something like that. Do you remember that when we were kids?
Yeah.
And he was walking on the street the entire time. Streets of Philadelphia.
His shit's always some stuff like, factory closed down today. Bunch of workers out of work and they got no way to pay for their food or electricity. And it just goes on fucking 20 minutes like that.
Yeah, I was never. My dad had that. What was that big live album that came out in the mid 80s? Like, he had that on constant repeat. That was one of the tapes that he had.
Like, Born in the USA.
Well, it was the live record, though.
Yeah.
Like the E Street Band live in, I don't know, Philadelphia or New York or something like that.
Live in an abandoned factory somewhere.
But I've never, like, I've tried. I think the only Bruce Springsteen album I halfway could get into, but even, I think it was Nebraska or something like that. It's kind of acoustic record that he did. But other than that, you know, I'm just not a fan. Sorry, Bruce. This shit just doesn't hit home with me.
Yeah. Anyway, though, back to these movies. I mean, to get off on a tangent of that shit.
You got your Sleepaway Camp poster covered up, man. Jerry is in the house. He's saying, he's threatening, and he's going to be in Buffalo.
Oh, God.
Coming up. We don't need those souvenirs from the fucking peep show place you used to work at, Jerry. Uncle Bill might want some, but not me.
No, I'm good. I'm all stocked up on all that.
I've got my copy of the Poonies. Tape rock video sent it my way, so I'm good. That was my last. That was my last X-rated grill that I wanted.
Poondock Saints.
Yeah. So Bruce Springsteen won a Oscar for the Streets of Philadelphia song. That sounds about right.
The flame lights that I got in the back are they're real kerosene lights. I just keep them burning in here all the time.
Keep the fire burning.
Keep all the fire burning.
That's another Springsteen song of some sort. Sounds like, at least.
I get up in the morning and I feel the same damn way. I get up in the evening, go back to bed, shit my pants anyway. I ain't on my time. It's like, no, I'm good.
What's going on in Mississippi? Madman, he does everything that he can to scare the dog shit out of me. Grande's Graveyard is in here. Cecilia Talito, we mentioned Jerry a little bit earlier. Vanderhoff is in here. Matter of Pat. The Witch Hunter. Immortal Nightmare 08. Justin Smith. That's Garrett's favorite right there. Reed Richards' dick is in here too.
That's good.
If you're curious about that. Phantasmat. Well, that's something we can agree with Slippy on. He's not a fan of Right.
You know, Jack Paul Evans, 1978. I was talking to him about that today. Actually, I was like, I need another series of videos to do that was similar to that and the tour of Italy. I just don't know what the hell to do.
A spin-off of Exploit Nation, calling it Ozploit Nation.
Australian films
Yes.
or Aussie films.
Either both.
One. Yeah, would be great.
Yeah. But tonight, a very special night. These are actually two movies that I feel are still to this day in 2026 underseen and underappreciated. And we're going to go through them, man. They're 10 years apart, oddly enough. These films are. And I guess we'll go ahead and kick it off, Uncle Bill. A lot of people are talking about Brittany Murphy in here, who passed away back in, I think, 2009. Oddly enough, has it been that long ago? But yeah, she stars in this one, Cherry Falls from 1999. To give a backstory on this, though, it was made in 99, but it took over a year for this thing to come out because I think there's a couple of conflicting stories on why it is. Some people are thinking, well, Columbine happened in the spring of 99. So that kind of put a halt on. I mean, the movie does involve a high school with a lot of high school students getting killed. So I guess I can understand that, but I don't know if anything was ever confirmed as to why. I know there was some issues with the MPAA and stuff like that as well. Had you heard anything else on that?
No, I mean, that was the main thing that I always heard. It was Columbine. I know that there is an uncut version of this movie. I'd say you can, I don't know if you can watch it anywhere, but like the version that I've got is the Scream Factory version and they don't have it. And I remember like back when this came out, like they said they tried to get it, but the guy that owned the rights or whatever, the guy that owned the rights or whatever didn't have it. So it was never put on this version. There is an uncut version though. I know that.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been seen. Unless there's some sort of bootleg that's out there or whatever. But I mean, I guess we can go ahead and get started. I'll start with this one, Cherry Falls from 1999. Jeffrey Wright, who what was it, Romper Stomper? Was that the other big movie that he did? I've never seen it, but I looked that up.
I haven't seen that one either.
No, but very formulaic to the slasher movies of this time period, right? Very much along the lines of Scream and Urban Legend and all that. And it feels like that almost immediately. There's an opening death scene with two teenagers kind of making out in a car and everything. And as the movie goes along, there's a local legend about this woman by the name of Laura Lee Sherman, who went missing 20 years ago. And they think that it's somehow associated with some of these murders that's popping up. The killer has been identified as her, looking very similar to her. And the lead in this is Brittany Murphy, who is the sheriff's daughter. Michael Bean is the sheriff in this one. And it's a slice and dice whodunit, right? But the gimmick with this one is the killer is specifically going after virgins. So this all culminates with this big orgy party at the end of the movie, which is freaking hilarious. And this movie is filled with like a lot of tongue-in-cheek, like dark comedy stuff as well. So in that respect, it's a little bit different, a little bit ahead of its time. This was actually before the first Scary Movie came out, even. Was when this was made. So kind of go from there.
This was like top flight Brittany Murphy too. This is before she got all like sickly looking and kind of got into what I imagine were a lot of different substances and things like that. Thing I noticed about this movie though, she's really good in it, and she was a really good actress. And I think that gets like kind of forgotten because the end of her life was such a clusterfuck of like, drama and chaos and stuff like that. But she's really, really good in this film. And This was a TV movie. I don't know if you mentioned that, but like it's a very expensive TV movie, but it wasn't released theatrically, I don't think. I think it was
Well, and
released by
up
USA.
until it was associated with that other fucking Terror Tract movie, up until this release here, this is the first.
Yeah.
This is the only, I guess, physical media release that Cherry Falls received on its own from our good buddies over at Sking Factory, who we love and respect.
Yeah.
Positive
And okay, so I've always tried to watch this movie, but I've never been able to successfully make it all the way through this movie until this time. For some reason, I just always either got bored or distracted or something happened. And I think it has to do with just like the lack of, the kills and stuff like that, which makes sense when you think about it being like a TV movie.
And they cut the hell out of it, right?
And they cut the piss out of it for that reason, I'm sure. Yeah. But like I watched all the way through this time, and like I have to say I liked it a lot more than any other previous time that I tried to watch it, because it's got some really good performances. Michael Bihn's in it. He's really good in it as the sheriff. Brittany Murphy's really good in it. Jay Moore, like here's the thing about Jay Moore, who's like a teacher in the movie. I've never really liked him in anything. Like I've never watched.
Well, he's a comedian, right? What does he do? Like what other stuff has he actually even been in? Like
I've never watched he was in like a Christopher Walken movie. I can't remember the name of it. And he's been in like a lot of movies, but mostly in like the 90s, early 2000s. But I've never watched a movie and be like, goddamn, that Jay Moore performance was outstanding. That's never happened like one time. So, I mean, I didn't expect it to happen in this one either. But I guess the coolest part about this movie to me is it has one of my favorite tropes in a slasher film, which is something bad in the past that catches up with the person or the town, in this case, in present day. And that's all the stuff that happened with
Laura Lee Sherman.
Laura Lee Sherman, yeah. So you come to find out, I guess, that as the film goes on, that there was like a group of football players that kind of like had their way with her.
She's wondering where the cat is. The cat dropped beside of me.
Like, my ass over here.
Okay, I shit right over here in the floor.
I shit in that
That's
where I keep my shit mug. But Brittany, yeah, a bunch of.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, bunch of football players like had their way with her when she was a senior, I think, and then that eventually comes out, very similar to the way that like it comes out in Nightmare on Elm Street, where the mom's like drinking and shit, and she tells the daughter like, "Well, here's what we did, or here's what I heard about that happened," and then it got covered up because everybody was a football player, and she was just
she was just some stupid, blue collar hooah.
Yeah.
From blue collar family.
Yeah, she wasn't rich.
This is not a good movie. I'm not going to act like it is, but I liked it still, if that makes sense. It reminds me so much of movies around this time period, like the Scream movies, like Urban Legend, like I Know What You Did Last Summer. And it's the early stages of those movies before they got to be kind of tiresome. So I still liked it because of that. Some of the cast in it was interesting. Michael Biehn being in it, and ultimately what happens to Michael Biehn is pretty hilarious as well. And I'm hoping, man, at some point, one of these studios, and Slippy's in here, this would be an interesting one, because I would be interested in a documentary on what happened with this movie, because it was a buzz on the internet at the time. Like there were a couple of movies like this back in the day. I think All the Boys Love Mandy Lane is another one that was kind of like delayed for hell and ever. And it was, people were like dying to see it. And I remember when it finally came out, people were pissed off because they cut the hell out of it. And a lot of that uncut material has still to this day, what is it, close to 30 years later after the movie was made, haven't seen it. And if it still exists, that would be a perfect, auditioned for Vinegar Syndrome, for Red Shirt Home Video, Synapse, Severin. People would be interested in seeing what that audition would be like, I think.
I think the biggest problem with this movie is every kill set piece is just kind of lame. And if it were to be uncut, I think it would help this movie tremendously too, because it's got some good performances in it, man. Like Brittany Murphy is really good in this movie. And you could tell, like, I mean, she was going to be a star at some point back. I mean, because she really was good. I like the ending of it too. I like the idea of it as well, which is like, the killer in this goes around killing people that haven't lost their virginity yet, which is a hilarious fucking idea.
Right.
And
when at the end too, it's called the Pop Your Cherry Party or something like that.
It's like a big orgy, and they actually show it too. I mean, they don't show it, but like, I mean, they go around the room, and there's a scene at the end of it that I thought was fucking hilarious, the way it was filmed too, where the killer's like going through this big orgy, just like slashing at people, like just there's teenagers running around trying to get away, and he's just like slashing around, like trying to get.
Now, I don't know of the history of, and you can go back and look if you didn't notice this before, of her issues, Brittany Murphy. She's one of those actresses that is just likable in everything that she's in, though. Like, even when, like, I guess her big role that got her name out there was, what was it called? Don't Say a Word or something like that, that came out like a couple of years after this.
I guess so, because that was the one everybody started like copy that, I'll Never Tell and all that stuff.
Right. There's a scene in this movie where she looks really, really fucking stoned and messed up, though. I don't know if it was method act. Like, I don't know. With the scene where she's wanting to, like, with her boyfriend or whatever, and the toe sucking and all that weird shit. If you go back and watch that,
she goes, I was dying at this because she goes, bite my toe, bite it harder. I'm like,
what an acting. Yeah, what an acting gig there. Good. Dude really had her toe in his mouth too. But she did.
I bet he was like, oh shit, I messed that scene up. Bulls, we do it a couple more times.
She did look, she looked kind of fucked up in that scene. So I don't know how long, she had issues. I know you can go and watch. It was something that she did with MTV where she was like noticeably fucked up, like hardcore the entire time. And I don't know what her, what was she on, if it was some sort of like prescription medication that she was abusing or whatever the hell it was. But there was a scene in this that I thought she does look high or something like that. So, but
what did you think about the ending? I'm curious.
I remember watching the movie initially on the USA Network back when it came out. And pretty much predicting, like, I don't know if they meant it to be that, it seemed very obvious, really. Because slasher movies at that time, without giving it away, if people haven't seen it yet, like if there's a bigger named actor that's kind of just in the background of the movie, he's always the killer.
Do you want to talk about it?
Well, go ahead. Let's go.
Okay, so if anybody hasn't seen this movie, now would be the time to probably leave if you don't want to know the ending of it. It is a 27-year-old movie, but which is fucking crazy to think about that 1999 is 27 years ago. But yeah, if you haven't, now would probably be the time to tune out because we're going to talk about the ending of it. So at the end, it turns out that the teacher, her favorite teacher, Jay Moore, is the son of, you assume it's her father, who was one of the Sherman.
And
yeah, that's the mother, and Brittany Murphy's father.
So it's her brother. It's her half brother.
Yeah, you think? Who knows though? But like, he is dressing up, and let me tell you something. I'd forgotten the ending of it. I'm not even sure I made it to the ending of it when I watched it this time. But when I saw, like at the beginning, that they had the killer's fingernails painted, I was like, "That's a dude." I know it's a dude because like anytime they do that, it's a red herring. Like if they show you something feminine about somebody at the beginning of a slasher movie, like the fingernails are painted, it always ends up being a dude. So right there, you know that. But he's putting on wigs and makeup and all this stuff and like, you know, playing the mother, basically, you know, a la Norman Bates. But the ending of it to me is just so funny. There's a scene like on the porch where like her boyfriend comes up and is kind of like foils him from killing him and stuff, and he's standing out there trying to act normal. And the boyfriend's like, "Why do you have lipstick on?" He goes, "Because it makes me look pretty."
Hey, if you look in the opening scene, though, if you freeze the picture quick enough, you can actually even see that it was Jay Moore, I believe.
That would make sense, yeah.
In the opening scene. Yeah.
And like I don't know how you feel about his performance as like an insane person or anything, but like
it's an odd choice. Yeah.
He's just
I think that both of these movies too, like they're obviously missing something because they never really caught on with, like, you never hear anybody reference either of these movies anymore at all. What do you think was like the biggest thing, if you could pick one thing to improve about Cherry Falls, what would you improve about it?
The gore. Like, I mean, to me, that's the number one thing. You know, everything else is kind of like, is fine to me, really. Like, I don't mind the teens in it, which is weird because most of the time when you have like a group of teenagers or people playing teenagers, like there's always just so fucking annoying, but they seem like real teenagers in this movie. And I don't mind Brittany Murphy. I don't mind Michael Biehn. Most of the time, I'm gonna tell you something. Even in like movies like Tombstone, I think Michael Biehn can't act worth a shit. Like, I just do. Like, I've never liked him in anything other than like Terminator and Aliens. And I think he's miscast a lot of times, but I think he was fine in this.
You liked him laying it to Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, with her old face. Yeah.
God.
How is it? How is it again?
Oh shit.
oh shit. Ooh. Oh, give it to me, Kyle. Kyle Reese.
You know, something that I would have done is the whole story of Laura Lee Sherman. I think that they explained that in the wrong spot. I would have had like that be the opening of the movie and then do whatever it was 20 years later and then have the opening death scene with I think that's how you would explain it a little bit better, right? Because immediately you know that there's somebody that looks exactly like her that's coming back and, you know, exacting revenge on the town.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a million slasher movies like that, though. And at least I feel like they took the traditional approach to it. You know what I mean?
Oh, she does. Yeah. I think it needed a song too. Like, you know how
it needed a song.
No, like it needed like a record.
Cherry falls tonight.
It needed some
like
sort
one of those 80s upbeat jingles.
Listen to like Urban Legend has that Total Eclipse from the Heart or whatever, and then Red Right Hand for Scream. Like they needed some sort of mood setter, and they just had generic fucking, like, I don't know. They could have had the Cherry Poppin' Daddies around that time.
They could have had fucking Like a Virgin.
Then
could have had Madonna.
Yeah.
Somebody remix that song.
You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of generic bullshit music in it. They needed like some actual mainstream.
What would have been popular right around that time? Korn. You'd have him come up.
Well, you didn't have to have like, I mean, modern music at that time they were still playing 70s and 80s stuff on regular rotation, so you could have used that too. I don't know.
Did I ever tell you how much I hate Korn? Not the food, but the band.
I like Corn on the Cob the best.
Yeah. Sticky Fingers could have done it. Yeah.
Yeah. But Man, yeah, I always liked Cherry Falls. It's fun to go back and revisit it. It's an interesting story too, how it was lumped with that other turd. God damn, that other one was awful. Wasn't it like a
What other turd are we talking about?
Terror Tract or something like that? That was like a anthology movie. It was on the DVD with it, and it debuted on the USA Network at the same time, the same night. Terror Tract.
I don't remember that. For some reason, I don't remember that one at all.
Unless I'm mistaken, I'm almost positive. Yeah, because I think I had the DVD at one point in time. That DVD was worth its weight in gold, dude. That thing was fucking like one of the early ones that was skyrocketing because it was only released by USA Network Films or something like that. And evidently they didn't make a lot of them.
I don't know. I like this movie. I don't love it. I like it. I think it's got some good shit in it. Like, got some good ideas and some good performances, but ultimately plays out like a TV movie, really.
I'd be interested in the dick train scene if they actually like get a little if in the unrated version, if they actually go a little further with some of that shit. Because I think they might.
Roller coaster of dick. Say what? Roller coaster. Dick.
On the dick train of love.
Of love.
Say what? Oh shit. But that is Cherry Falls, boys. Everybody ride the dick train. Get all over
Come
it.
on, ride the dick train. The choo-choo, ride it.
And we do have a poll up as well. It's a pretty close poll from what I'm seeing. Which is the better slasher film? Cherry Falls is slightly ahead, 57%, to Laid to Rest, 43%. So that's kind of surprising to me, actually. Of the two, I would have imagined that Laid to Rest would have been the more popular of the two, just because
I wondered that too. A matter of fact, but I feel like he had a hymen detector. You can buy those at like the hardware store.
Maybe he's keeping track, like he had. Was keeping track where all the kids are going to after class.
Class nights. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Pursue the next film.
For Freddy.
I'm gonna tell you about this film though right now because this was a big one right around the time we started really like doing the show, and the show started picking up the original, incarnation of DEADPIT, because this was like a big sleeper hit at that time. And I remember watching this and really, really liking it when it first came out. But Laid to Rest came out in 2009, and it's the story of a young woman played by Bobby Sue Luther, who I hadn't thought about that name in 20 years until I watched this, who wakes up in a coffin at a funeral home. She's got amnesia. She can't remember who she is or what she's doing there or anything about her past. And she really quickly learns that she's being stalked by this guy in a skull, like a chrome skull mask. And he's got a camera that he records all of his dastardly deeds on as he's going through it. And she pretty quickly finds a couple of people that will help her out throughout the film. One of them is like a local guy that lives around there. The other one's like a computer guy, which is funny, like to see computers in 2009 on this.
Those big fucking monitors.
Yeah. And the whole rest of the film is just her trying to avoid him as he like continues to stalk her and goes through, different people along the way. And this to me is like the early Terrifier kind of vibe, because the special effects were really the star of these movies. It looks very independent, but the special effects makeup and the practical effects in this look way ahead of their time, which they were, because Robert Hall, who is the director, that was his gig. He was a special effects guy. Yeah. So Laid to Rest, yeah. And Robert Hall was another guy that dude should have been bigger. Like he should have been able to.
Well, he did
translate
work
on this
on mainstream movies as a special effects guy, and he started at a very, very young age at that. But as far as a filmmaker, unfortunately, I think he was one of those guys too that just couldn't get out of his own way. Like he had issues, passed away at a relatively young age a few years ago. But man, like I've always loved this movie. This is like the perfect ingredients for a great little movie, in my opinion. And because it's a slasher movie, it's one of the movies that takes place all in the span of one night. And we need to do a series on that. That would be a series. Like, because I love, like, pretty much consistently love all movies that are all take place in one night, but it's a road movie too. So it's almost like a mixture of like Terminator and Phantasm 2, plot wise. But the gore scenes in this, they're spread out a little bit. They're not as kind of gratuitous as like back to back to back to back with shit, because they didn't have the budget like Terrifier or whatever. But they're very creative death scenes. The look of the killer in this is fantastic, with the chrome mask and everything. And he's almost like, you get the idea that he's a very rich, possibly maybe even a doctor or whatever. He's got these big knives that are sharp as scalpels that can carve up his victims. And I almost saw it as like a Patrick Bateman on steroids sort of killer. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I like, interesting thing about this movie too, I kept trying to figure out like the main guy, the actor that's in the film that she kind of sides up with, whose partner gets killed in the very beginning. I was like, who is that guy?
Kevin Gage.
Yeah. So he was in that movie Chaos. I don't know if you remember that movie that we saw. He was also in a bunch of crap like early on, like he was in Heat, Con Air. I was looking at some of stuff, Point Blank, a lot of different bigger kind of movies before.
He was also in that Lightning Bug movie that Robert Hall did before
he was
laid to rest, which is kind of his autobiographical movie. That's very low budget, but it's a great movie. I think it's out. It's still available on Blu-ray if anybody wants to check. Now, as far as Laid to Rest goes, I think it had a Blu-ray from Image Entertainment.
I don't have it though.
I don't have it either. I don't know if it's still available either. So this would have been a Blu-ray from many years ago.
Yeah, I mean, Dirk's got a good point here. He says, Laid to Rest gave me hope that horror was on the rise during this time. Yeah, once you watch as many independent films as we did at that time, when you see something like this, even though, by today's standards or whatever, like it may not look like a lot, but back then this was like fucking needle in a haystack amongst all those other films that were coming out. It had a really cool killer. It had a really cool idea. It had some of the best gore scenes that were around at that time, especially for like low budget stuff. Almost Human was the name of the studio that Robert Hall owned.
He worked on big movies up until close to when he passed away. I think he worked on like the one of the Halloween movies more recently. So it's always sad news to hear though when somebody passes away. But this was a guy that had a ton of talent. And I think we even mentioned it back on the show whenever we heard that he had passed away, where it's like, God, he had like everything going for him, right? But I mean, it's just one of those guys that had issues, that he couldn't get over, couldn't get past them. But we interviewed him on the show years and years ago, I think when the sequel was coming out. Now, this movie does have a sequel. It's Chrome Skull Laid to Rest 2.
Yeah, which is actually not that bad either.
I don't really remember liking it too well, but I've only seen it that one time. So it may just be bad memories, but maybe it's where Danielle Harris is in it. I just don't want to like it.
There's a ton of Blu-rays of Laid to Rest that are available, by the way, people on here, if you want to just look on Orbit or one of those sites. But anyway, Bobby Sue Luther, I was like, what the fuck is she doing in this? Because she's not good in this movie, man. and she's damn sure not good enough to be like the lead. And then it's like he was married to her.
She is nice to look at, but yeah, they were married.
Robert Hall was married at that time to her, and then shortly thereafter got divorced, and she's not in the second one. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
But another girl that he married was in the second one. She was a former X-rated star.
I just was like, dude, she's very bad. But yeah, Sean Whalen's in the movie, who was like the guy he was Roach from People Under the Stairs. He's in it. Richard Lynch is in it for about 30 seconds, which is probably all the time they could get him to do anything.
It was
like
probably not long before he passed away too, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some convention regulars in it, but
I do remember at the time it did have a bit of a buzz about it. But this was just a different time when it comes to like independent horror movies. So I wonder if something like that were to come out now, if it would have received like a bigger theatrical release. Because like something like this, in my opinion, is way better than Ice Cream Man or something like that Eli Roth came out with.
I'll tell you the truth though, they look about the same in terms of like how would you say that, like the production quality, which is weird because one was made now and one was made in like 2009 independently. But I mean, in terms of like the quality of the picture and everything, they almost look identical to me. And this is not a movie that looks like it was shot on film. I don't know if it was or not. It doesn't look like it. But then again, neither did Ice Cream Man. So.
Yeah. I always liked this movie, though. I always felt Robert Hall was a pretty damn good filmmaker. And it's a shame, ultimately what happened with him. So, yeah, it's definitely, I think the Laid to Rest movies are definitely better than the Hatchet movies.
Yeah, that should have been like the series that went through that era too. It shouldn't have been like Hatchet and Hostel and all that bullshit. It should have definitely been Laid to Rest because it just had a better story, a better killer, better kills. It was more kind of suspenseful than any of those movies. Didn't have the humor aspect of like, Hatchet and all that bullshit.
Good question. Do you think that Phantasm inspired Laid to Rest? I don't know about, because it does feel an awful lot like Phantasm too. And you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. Like, there's a lot of road movie aspects to it.
Yeah. And that may be why, like, of the two, that one gets my vote. It's the best of the two movies. Now, you guys can vote for who you want on there, but I think Laid to Rest is slightly better than Cherry Falls. What do you think?
I don't know, man. They're like completely different styles of movies. But I mean, I guess for the nostalgic side of me, it probably would be Laid to Rest because, that was a movie that was huge around that time period.
We did get, and we've got announcements on next week's show as well. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But we did get the box office for this past weekend, Uncle Bill. And I saw
it today. I was laughing my ass. I was like, that's actually too much, but yeah.
We got to talk about it though, because Eli Roth's Ice Cream Man came in 8th place and just barely beat out Cat Video Fest 2026. I was rooting for Cat Video Fest 2026, but the Ice Cream Man beat it out. It brought in a little over $2 million, $2 of the $6 million budget. Do you think Eli's making his money back with this one?
Did he do any was there any promotion for it really? I mean, is there marketing cost associated with it? Because it didn't seem like it. I mean, I don't think he'll even make back the original budget because I think it'll drop off like a motherfucker after this week because I don't think.
Oh, it'll be gone after this week.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I
It's
mean,
going
the
to be in
bad
theaters.
press and people actually seeing it, it's not going to have any good word of
But
mouth or anything like that. Like,
streaming and DVDs and Blu-rays and all that stuff will be out from it eventually. So, I mean, it could slightly break even, but some of the movies that beat it out over the weekend, the live action Moana movie, which has been out forever, Minions and Monsters, which has been out forever, Toy Story 5. God damn it. They've made 5 Toy Story movies.
yeah.
Super Troopers 3 beat the shit out of it. It made $4 million. It doubled the Ice Cream Man's budget. The Ice Cream Man's weekend gross. One Night Only, The Odyssey, and the new Spider-Man movie is beating the dog shit out of everything. It made $145 million this past weekend. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Look for a sequel for that coming out here in about 6 months.
I don't know. There's nothing else I can say about the Ice Cream Man I haven't already said. Like, I think my opinion of it's pretty.
Garrett is on here. He says the 4K steelbook of Ice Cream Man is already up and it's $79.
Yeah, you put like even if you put a decimal between the 7 and the 9, it's like $7.99. I wouldn't fucking buy it.
Yeah. Poor Eli. That's all I'm gonna say. Poor Eli. But yeah.
Oh, real quick though, going back to Laid to Rest. So I thought that the ending of the movie was really good too, because unlike 99% of movies like that where you would have somebody take out the main killer through like something like a axe or hatchet or shooting them or what I mean, like something like that. She puts, like, spoiler for anybody who hadn't seen it, but this was, I thought, a killer way to do this. She put some sort of like acid based substances you could tell that Robert Hall knew about from like doing makeup effects and shit like that. It's something that like burns your skin and won't come off or anything like that. And like they put it in his bag of stuff that he uses to reattach his mask, and then he like put it on the mask and stuck it on his face, and then it kind of like molds itself
basically
to his
melted
face.
his head.
Yeah, which was killer. Yeah,
it reminded me of like the slime pit back in the day, putting Skeletor on it or something like that. Like that was a really cool effect. Yeah, and somehow not only does his face completely melt to a skeleton or whatever, but she's like breaks his fucking head or whatever with like a baseball bat or
something. Yeah, it's like a baseball bat.
She shattered his fucking head, so somehow he comes back. He's fine in the second one.
Yeah, in the second one he walked that off. He just walked that shit right
He's
off.
Like, oh, I've got a headache, boss.
My head exploded, but don't worry about it. Yeah, Eli Roth.
It's an interesting era for sure.
Yeah.
Because like the big thing is with that era is like a lot of those movies from that era are MIA as well. I mean, you could probably go back and just, because I've got those CD binders full of old screeners from, do you remember the little Fox screeners we used to get that were in like little paper sleeves or whatever?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of those somewhere.
I've got a bunch of them too. And like a lot of that stuff have never come back out on anything. So there were so many movies and the Lionsgate stuff that came out around this time period too, never ever seen a re-release in 20 years or longer. So yeah. Garrett says Laid to Rest rules. I don't care what anyone said, it's ahead of its time. I think so. The mid 2000s was dog shit horror era. I hardly ever rented anything for fear of being shit. What do you think about that era in particular?
I mean, on a whole, I kind of agree with that in terms of mainstream films, because look at the shit that came out around that time, man. We were doing the show. It was a non-stop barrage of like remakes, sequels, like awful fucking franchises. It just from like 2000, when we started the show, 2005 to like well into, the 2010s, shit was really bad. It was all like a Saw and Hostel. Movies like that fucking just ran everything at that time. The torture
remakes.
porn era. Yeah, and then just nonstop. Every week there was a remake of some film. You'd have like Amityville Horror and the Crazies, and then fucking, Omen, and it went on endlessly throughout that time period. So I kind of agree.
Blu-ray Addict says Laid to Rest 1 and 2 are fun movies, though. I always wish they made a third movie. He was working on a third movie, I think, when he passed away. Unfortunately, it never, more than likely, will see the light of day, I'm guessing. But it is what it is, man. So let's see the results on the poll. See if we talked anybody else into voting the right way. Although I don't know if there is a right way. 66 votes, which means more than half of you motherfuckers didn't vote. I don't know what the hell's going on. But 58% for Cherry Falls and 42% for Laid to Rest. That surprises me. It really does. I thought it would have been at least closer, but I would have guessed that Laid to Rest would have won that.
I just think that Cherry Falls looks better. Ultimately, it just looks like a movie. And there's a lot, somebody did mention this, there's a lot of scenes in Laid to Rest that are just filler. Like it's just them driving back and forth to houses and shit.
The opening credit scene looks generic as shit. Like, did you notice that? Like when the movie's just starting and the music and everything, it sounds really, really, really amateurish. So I get that. And Brittany Murphy was great. So, what's some stuff we got coming up though, Uncle Bill? I know we're going to do, I think we're going to do Dead Pit is Watching this week. A lot of stuff we need to catch up on.
There's so much stuff,
review wise, because we're getting a bunch of shit this week and next week probably as well. So stay tuned for that. That'll probably be on Thursday night. And we got a fun show for next week on the Slashback. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I don't know what we would name this show though. I don't know what the
do we still hate these movies? Maybe
that's why I feel like it's going to run, because we're trying to figure out, like, there are two films that have haunted us since we began watching slasher films, just in terms of their just overall complete shittiness. And we want to see if they're still as bad as we think that they are. So the next show that we're doing is going to be a double feature of Terror on Tour and Final Exam.
Oh no, boys. Oh no. Yeah, these are two movies that we have talked about, not always in the most positive of light, but we have never done formal reviews on, as far as I know, together. So this will be a first. Cruel Summer Slashback, Terror on Tour, and Final Exam next week. Terror on Tour, I think, is on YouTube because it never did receive an official DVD release. And Final Exam, I think, is on Tubi. Should be. Terror on Tour might be on Tubi as well.
It should. Both the movies should be sponsored by Tubi. That's about the level that they're at.
Yeah. So you can stay tuned for that next week. Home Sweet Home. I'm still hoping we'll get an official release of that at some point. We could pray.
Rambo. I still think that too. Like, I feel like either Vinegar Syndrome or Arrow or somebody is going to get that movie. Like, I just feel like it's so much stuff has been put out now that's one that's just been floating around out there forever. And I feel like somebody's going to pick it up.
If you want to watch those movies, they're showing them in hell.
Yeah. It's a double feature in the seventh layer of hell.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And we also want to mention this because we're going to be on the Icons of Fright podcast this coming Friday. We already recorded the podcast. It's a pretty interesting conversation we have with those guys who've been around just as long as us. So it was kind of interesting to kind of go back there. They're kind of similar thinking as far as the convention things go, the way of the convention. So that was a fun conversation, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the best talks we've had, best interviews that we've had in a long time. So I was really happy to do that and really glad to get to talk to those guys it's been probably 15 years or something since, last time that we actually had any contact with them.
We had Rob on for the Psycho Legacy documentary.
Yeah.
When that was 2010, maybe?
I was thinking like 2009, 2010. Yeah.
No.
God, look at this. You imagine this shit. A marathon of Terror 10 Killer, Final Exam, Slaughterhouse 2, Phantom Brother, Mutilator 2, and The Catcher. I think I'd lose my mind.
I don't want to think about that.
Huh.
So, somebody's asking about the Buffalo Horror Garage sale. We got to promote that too, man. We got a couple minutes on here. We're going to be there with Garrett. It is October the 9th, 10th, and 11th in Buffalo, New York. The very first time we've appeared in the state of New York. So tell the local authorities.
Yeah, hell yeah, boss.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is it. We got a super chat. Bring Sequelitis back for a one-off. What do you think of that?
Yeah, we could always bring it back, resurrect it.
Cheese.
I don't know. I don't remember the cheese.
We will be there, Savannah, and Sleepy. Sleepy's there too.
He'd probably mark the fuck out if I came up to him with like a salami and cheese platter or something.
It's the first time we've been to town, Jackson Jack said. All right.
Yeah, but out south.
But yeah, guys, stay tuned. We appreciate all the support and everything. And remember, again, next week, we're torturing ourselves for you. Terror on Tour and Final Exam. Some may pass the test, but God help the rest
Of the audience.
Yeah. So we will see you guys next time over at DeadPit.com. Lionel. Big thanks goes out to our supporters over at Dead Pit on Patreon.com. You can get hours upon hours of great content, right, Uncle Bill?
There's so many hours of content. We've got reviews. We've got songs. We've got live streams. We've got exclusive streams. We've got non-exclusive streams. We've got streams with all kinds of celebrities and all kinds of different old shows from the past podcast, the initial incarnation of the show. All of that can be yours.
Dead Pit on Patreon.com. Show us a little bit of love. Give us some money because we definitely deserve it. That Patreon page is so killer that you'll rub your bird to it on a nightly basis. It's that good.
You won't be able to contain yourself. You'll have to jerk your bird out and go crazy. I mean, that's how much content that we have. So much content that it's massive, and it will massively smack you in the face.
You'll play with your bird so much, pretty soon you'll be looking around for somebody else's bird to play with.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Filipino bitch, Miss Slatco Fudd, telling you about shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. And it's the best goddamn deal on horror shirts you will ever see. New shirts, old shirts, all the in-between shirts. God damn it, fools, go over to shop.deadpit.com. You ain't down with that. You can go to fucking hell.
All these movies suck dick.